I don't know why I remember the color of the walls so vividly. Maybe because it's easier to recall something as simple as a dull mint green than to face the memory of Claire's face when the truth shattered everything between us. That shade, pale, soft, meant to soothe, felt like a lie painted over the cold reality of a hospital room where nothing felt calm anymore. It should have been one of the happiest moments of our lives. Claire had just given birth to a baby boy. Our son. That's what I kept repeating in my head, like a mantra. Our son. That's what I needed to believe, even if the ground beneath me was starting to give way. She was still drenched in sweat, her body trembling from the effort of childbirth. But there was something off in her eyes, a tension, a flicker of something darker that didn't belong in a moment like this. Then, like a blade across glass, it happened. The nurse handed her the birth certificate. Claire grabbed it too quickly, her grip too tight. "His name will be Benjamin," she said, voice soft but firm, as she pressed a pen to paper. "Benjamin Ruth Parker." I blinked. "Ruth?" I asked, trying to keep my tone steady. "Claire, we talked about this. We agreed his middle name would be James, after my father." She didn't even look at me, just kept writing, the pen nearly carving through the paper. "I changed my mind," she muttered. My chest tightened. "Claire, this isn't fair. We're supposed to be in this together." And that's when she looked at me, really looked at me, and in her eyes there was no softness left, just ice. "Together?" she said, letting out a bitter laugh. "You should be grateful I even let you in the delivery room." The words sliced through me before I could even find a response. The nurse shifted at her side. Something passed through her eyes, a hesitation. Then, in a voice so low I almost missed it, she leaned toward me and whispered, "Want me to tell the truth?" I froze. "The truth?" Claire's head whipped around. "What did you just say?" The nurse straightened, her expression suddenly unreadable. "Mr. Parker, would you mind stepping outside with me for a moment?" Claire rolled her eyes and scoffed. "Oh, for God's sake, don't try to gang up on me. Whatever you have to say it here." There was a heavy silence before the nurse finally spoke again, her words deliberate and cold. "Your son's blood type doesn't match your husband's." For a few seconds, all I could hear was a mechanical beeping from monitors and a soft shuffle of nurses outside the room. Everything else faded. Time stopped. Claire's face went pale. The nurse continued gently. "We ran routine tests. Mr. Parker's blood type is AB. Your son's is O." Claire blinked, lips parting slightly. That's not possible. "It is," the nurse replied, with no room left for denial. "If Mr. Parker isn't the biological father." Claire's hand shook where she still held the pen. She looked at me, and for the first time since I'd met her, she had no words, just silence. I stepped back, my throat dry, my voice cracked. "Don't." Tears filled her eyes. "It's not what you think." A bitter laugh escaped my lips. "Not what I think. Claire, are you really about to stand there and tell me this is just some kind of medical error?" Her mouth opened, then closed. Her shoulders sagged, as if a string had snapped inside her. And just like that, the lie collapsed. There was no hiding, no spinning it into something small. The brightness of the room was almost blinding now. Too clean, too clinical, too fake. I looked at her again. "Who is he?" She closed her eyes, long and hard, as if willing herself to disappear. When she opened them, they were empty. "It was a mistake," she whispered. "A mistake. Like forgetting to turn off the oven. Like locking your keys inside the car." "How long?" I asked. She looked away. 8 months. 8 months. My mouth turned dry. That was before we even found out she was pregnant. Tears finally broke free from her lashes. It didn't mean anything. I nodded slowly, every part of me burning. It meant something to me. The nurse cleared her throat. "I'll give you both some privacy," she said gently, then slipped out, leaving behind a silence that screamed in my ears. Claire reached for my hand, but I stepped back. I couldn't let her touch me. Not now, not ever again. "James, please," she pleaded, her voice breaking. I shook my head, trying to swallow the ache building in my chest. "You knew," I said softly. Somewhere deep down you knew that's why you didn't want to give her my name. She let out a strangled sob. I was scared. And I was devoted. I whispered, and you should have told me. I couldn't, she said, a small voice in the too big room. I stared at her, the stranger in my wife's skin, and something in me finally let go. I turned away. She cried out behind me, my name echoing in that sterile room like a ghost. But I didn't stop, not when I reached the hallway, not when the nurse looked up and gave me a quiet, knowing nod, not even when I felt the phantom of the life I thought I had begun to dissolve behind me. I wasn't ready to think about lawyers or custody or paternity tests. I wasn't ready to process what it meant to love a child that wasn't mine. But I knew this. I deserved better. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't going to let someone else make that choice for me. I walked out of the hospital with nothing but my breath,